there are a lot of issues I have with the National Party. Obviously, there are blanket issues that I will never vote for them, specifically for what they have done during COVID and then the way that they have completely shifted for their own benefit and lied for their own benefit. I'll never vote for them, and they'll never match my politics. But on this, I think there are elements in that party that have the it doesn't come under the name in this country, but there are elements in that party that come under the abundant liberalism banner, and I specify more specifically Chris Bishop in that banner. There probably are others, obviously, but in that leader cohort, it's Chris Bishop. We really need, and I have thought this for years because I'm so smart, that we really need to build up everywhere. There really needs to be more emphasis on public transportation, a pathway to free transportation, or at the very least, heavily subsidized transportation, and better zoning laws that allow for higher-rise buildings, that allow for single-person dwellings, that allow for two, and so forth. There needs to be, and then the NIMBYs standing in the way, they need to be set aside. Obviously, look, what the last government was going to do, they were going to get rid of the RMA. There was a pathway towards this, but obviously National wanted, as I said, a stamp on their own and a bit more leeway towards business and foreign interest and foreign homeowners, foreign property owners. So they wanted to, they binned that, got rid of the changes that Labour wanted, that Labour brought in their own changes, and then accused Labour of being the ones not willing to be bipartisan on that. That's really fun. It's really fun. I love that. I love National. I love them. They're great. Great little scumbags. But I think the baseline idea is true that both parties, both sides of the aisle, I don't know about Te Pāti Māori. I'd like to think that they are on board with the idea of housing intensification. I don't know. But I think across the board, in the major parties, there is agreement there that there needs to be better zoning laws, obviously within reason. Look, I don't think that, I think one of the problems that people seem to run into is that I don't think, I'm not the type of, I'm not the type of person that is full head first into capitalism and all that, not to get grainy in policy specific. But I think people do need to realize that housing prices will probably rise. It's very difficult and sometimes political suicide. Not political suicide, rather economic suicide to lower housing prices. And I think people do need to realize that sometimes that just won't work. And sometimes increasing the housing supply doesn't always work. That's not the main specific problem. The solution to the problem, National. Wages need to rise, salaries need to rise to decrease housing, but also transportation needs to be cheaper. Ease of access to schools, well-being, life, everything, really. It all needs to improve for people to be able to pay for. Definitely not $500 a week rent, but certainly it won't go to $300. I mean, it might. In my small brain, I might not be conceptualizing it, but under the system, I don't think it will. And as such, I think higher wages and better costs and better living needs to supplement it. I do understand the sentiment of heritage groups, and you want to keep the character of it, but if it supplants the affordability of housing and livability in a city, you're shit out of luck. I don't care. I don't care if your view to an ocean is impeded if an apartment gets set up, built. I don't really care. Sorry. I mean, it is important. I love history, and not just World War II, Nazi Germany. I do like history. I'm a little bit of a history buff, and I do understand I do understand the support of keeping a character in the city. I mean, in Wellington, we've got great houses there, but if it supplants housing affordability and livability, suck an egg.